Greetings, YouTubers. We are back at it. It's the dawn of a new era for this F-150 2010, which has a lot of codes. Too many codes. Lots and lots of codes. Mainly for the VVTs. Perhaps the cam gears. We're not sure. The cam phasers. So what we're going to do first today is we have some oil, some motor flush. We're going to put some motor flush in this thing, change the oil, change the filters, because some of the codes that I got was for this guy here, these guys, the variable valve solenoids, VVTs, whatever you want to call them. Got two of them, OEM, pretty cheap on eBay, free shipping for 40 bucks. I didn't need them, so I bought two of them. And you know, if you shop around on eBay, you can get these things anywhere from $30 to $100, depending on where we're going to shop. So what we're going to do, we're going to change out the oil, flush this engine out. The engine oil is not all that bad, but I figure it's good, you know, practice to go ahead and do that, because when I go to put these in, I want to make sure the oil is nice and clean, and hopefully that will clear up some of our codes. One of the codes that I got here, I believe it was a P022, let's see, P0022 and P012, and you got 303, 57 misfire codes and a bank one. So I think for now, the easiest thing for me to do is just go ahead and try this, because it's a pretty easy job changing these out. Now, if this doesn't work and I still get all these codes that were popping up, then I'm probably going to eventually have to pull the front cover off and go in and replace the cam phaser gears, and maybe just do another timing chain set and check the little plastic guides on the timing chains. You know, done a lot of these, so they do break. And when I start it up, I really don't have a rattle in the engine, but if you have a really loud rattle after it sits a while, you definitely have to change out the timing chain and the guides and all that. And to put my money where my mouth is, or whatever, however that saying is, here's all the Ford stuff I've done in the past. These things here break, you know, and the chain starts to rattling around. And also you got these little guys here that hold these things in place to make the chain tight. And what happens when you start your vehicle up, if these things aren't holding pressure and putting pressure against one of these against the chain, then when you start it up, that chain rattles a lot, rattle around a lot until oil pressure builds back up in that. So we'll see what we can get here, but we'll start with the easy stuff first. All right, so having said all that, let's go ahead and shut this door up here, get the hood open, and we'll go ahead and dump some of this motor flush in there. Basically, it's gasoline and transmission fluid, I think. They sell it for $5 a quart. So it says now, when you put this in, you run the engine for 5 minutes, you let it idle, you don't drive it. Because if you drive it, you know, you take a chance of really thinning that oil out and causing your oil pressure to really get pretty low and causing engine damage, in case you have a lot of miles on your vehicle, just so you know. But I'm actually going to do it twice. I'm going to put this in, let it run for 5 minutes or so, shut it off, let it cool down for 20 minutes, and do another idle for another 5 minutes, then change out everything. So here we go, down the hatch. See, it's kind of red. I swear that's what this stuff is. Kind of looks like motor Mr. Marvel, Mr. Oil, whatever. Mr. Marvel Oil. Why is this saying leaking? Is there a leak in this? Oh no, I just spilled some of it. Alright, so down she goes. So we'll try that. Now when I do start this up, I have noticed, what does it smell like? Yeah, it smells like tar, actually. When I first start this up, it does rattle just a little bit, but I have decent oil pressure. But, you know, if this doesn't work, then obviously I've got to take the front timing cover off, and this is not too bad to do on this Ford. Alright, so let's go start this up, let it idle. I'll give you guys a listen to it. It hasn't been started in 2 days. And you can kind of hear how this engine sounds. Let me just unhook all this real quick. Find the key. Finally got the fob key working right after I hit the dash and got the lights to come back on here. For some reason it made a connection, and it's been working great ever since. So I don't know. I did a video on that earlier. So, and you can see there's the security light, and it goes off now. Before it would flash like crazy. So, all right. So I'm gonna start this up now. Listen to the engine. Now when it first starts, you'll hear a popping sound. It's got a little bit of an exhaust leak on this side, so kind of ignore that. So here we go. 3, 2, 1. Well, actually today didn't sound too bad, so. All right, so it's, we're at, every light is on like a Christmas tree, so I got gas. You can see the engine is cold. All right, so we'll let it run for 5 minutes or so. Good sounding engine, it's just, it's got some weird timing issues with it. For no more than I paid for it. I may actually drive it a while. All right, so we'll come back here in a little bit and we'll change out the oil and all that and continue. All right, so while we're waiting for that motor flush to do its thing, I went on ahead and took off the step bars. I don't know if I like them or not. I don't know if I'm going to put them back on, because the reason I had to take them off, I got a little body work to do down here, but thinking about maybe just getting some step ups, little step bars and put on there, little chrome ones. What do you guys think? You can see on this side. That one's off now. These are fairly easy to get off. I don't know why, but I got all my bolts out without breaking anything. Put oil on them, oil them up, and you can see just a little bit of body work right there on the edge. That's not really a big deal at all. It's only about maybe 3 inches. And that's not in the cab. The cab is way up in here. This is down here on the edge, way below the door. So these running boards are held in by 2 screws here, or bolts, and there's 2 back in here that go right there and right there. Same up front up there, and I believe they were all basically 13mm bolts. So that is that. All right, guys, the beat goes on. I'm under the truck here. We'll see if we can break this loose. This is a 17mm socket. I can see it there. Yeah, it's a mosquito. Yeah, 16. So hopefully we can break this loose fairly easy. At least this is easy to get to. Oh. All right. Already leaked it out. Gee. That tells you how thin that oil gets with that engine flush stuff. Oh, of course I'm going to have to continue here, make this a little shorter, and somehow I think it's about ready. Huh? Just about. Alright, so we'll use the ratchet. The ratchet is your friend. We'll get this out of here. Get this bar. Big sway bar is in the way, sort of. And it's kind of tight. If I had a lift, it would be a different world. I like how all these YouTubers have a lift, and life is so wonderful. But me, I'm still on the ground on my knees. Alright, so I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, but it's coming out. Alright, there we go. 1, 2, 3. Whoa. She's thin. She's like water. Alright. Alright, we'll let that drain. Alright, now let's get this oil filter out. And of course, it's right down there. I hate these things. If they're on there real tight, if someone went redneck on it, they probably tighten it so tight it's never coming off. And you have to knock a screwdriver through it and break it off. But I'm hoping this will work. This is a 9/3/15. I'll just leave it at that. So I'm going to stretch my hand all the way down here. At least they made it easy to get to if it works. So one thing, you got to get that on there just right. Alright, well, I'm probably going to have to use both hands. Well, there we go. Nope, got to use both hands to start that off. Alright, let's try that again. What you got to do is knock that piece there on, because that piece on my ratchet does not, it kind of interferes with it. Doesn't let me put the ring, the tool in there as far. So now I'm hoping this will go on there. Well, you'd think some of the simplest things would be easy, you know, but well, I'm gonna have to use my other hand and put that on there. Hopefully the third time is the charm. Oh God. Ugh. It's turning, but man, somebody redneck tight that. There's no reason that should be on there that tight. Oh. Oh. All right. So, bear with me here a second. I'm gonna get my hand down here now, and I don't know how long it's been since this has been changed out, but I got a bucket under there. Catch some fluid. This is a, what kind of a filter this is. Here comes the oil. Nothing I can do about it. Oop, almost dropped it. Alright, so get it out. One hand here somehow. Alright, there's that. Well, at least they put a Napa filter on them. And what do? I go to Walmart and buy a cheaper filter. Well, it's just for now anyway, so. Alright, so that's off. And, don't see anything in there, so. Alright, we'll put the new one on and start putting some oil back in this and get that pan out underneath of it there. Alright, so it looks like that's done dripping, pretty much. Let's go ahead and pull this pail out here and see how much, holy moly, there's a lot of fluid, oil in here. That thing is 2/3 full. There's no way that's 5 quarts, that's more like 7 or 8, but it looked okay. Well, it was a little high on the dipstick, so let's take this out and see what it looks like. She's like water. Oh, nasty stuff. Nasty. Alright, so let's go ahead and get the filter on. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm dumping all my oil into jugs, and I keep this, and I actually use this in the wintertime. Well, in the fall, I'll take it and spray over the frame. I have a little squirt can there, or you can put it in a little air gun or something, blow it up on the frame underneath your vehicle, and it'll cut the rust down. I just want to see if anything came out of the oil in the oil pan that I should be concerned about. I'm not expecting anything, but you never know. Huh? I don't see anything. It looks good. See something right here. What's that? Oh, it's just dirt. So everything looks good there, so I'm all happy. And one other quick thing here. Some people forget to look in the oil filter, and you can see I don't see anything in there. If you have one of those tools, you can cut it open and look in there and see if you see metal or anything, but I just want to see if there's any chunks or anything in here. And you can see that filter is doing a good job. Look at all that brown stuff kind of leaking out, the darker stuff there. So, alright, so everything here looks okay. Let's go ahead and put it back together. Alright, we'll put the oil filter on it. I know it's a Fram. It was the only thing I could get at the moment when I was out. I just want to get some oil on this thing and see if it's going to run okay once I do a little magic here. See if our codes will stay off. So hopefully this will go in fairly easy. I will change this out later once I verify it's going to run okay. Like I said, I may have to take the front cover off yet and put timing guides in it and just do the whole front end. If the codes come back on after I go through all this with the PVTs. Alright, so I'll tighten that down. I'm not going to bore you with that. Alright, so the oil filter's on. We are on our last quart, and you wonder what I'm putting in it? That's right, guys. Just regular Walmart oil, and I would advise you do the same thing if you have a vehicle with high mileage. The cap calls for 520, but this is when it was brand new and the clearance in those bearings were really good. But you know, with high mileage vehicles, it's always good to keep some thick oil in it. You can do whatever you want, but I'm just telling you from experience, if you come up to a light and you see that oil pressure light blinking on and off or something, or you see that gauge going down, you put thin oil in there, you're gonna know what I'm talking about. All right, so I checked it, it's full. Of course, when I start it up, some of that oil is going to go through the oil filter and fill it up, so it might be a little low, half a quart. You're probably wondering, why am I starting it up without changing the VVTs right now, those solenoids? Well, I still want that oil to get into that filter. There's going to be some debris stuff still in there, some old maybe sludge. I just want to make sure the filter gets caught, catches it, because I don't want it to get into these solenoids when I put that in. And when I start this up, it's probably going to rattle a little bit. Probably hear those guides and everything. Now in theory they shouldn't do that because they should be holding pressure, but I'm not sure what's going on, so we'll go ahead and start this up. Hopefully you can hear me with that lawnmower over there. So 3, 2, 1. Hear those guides? And they went away. That was pretty fast. I'm not expecting a miracle right now. Just want to get the oil changed out, then we'll get those solenoids put in and clear those codes and see if everything stays off. But sounds pretty good right now. So when that rattling goes away and you start it up, you know your oil pump's pumping oil into those guide tensioners. So I mean, she's smooth as glass. I mean, idling perfect. So we'll get this one here out, and we'll have to take this off. And there's one over here that we have to take out right down there. And I'll let this cool down a little bit. I just want to run this maybe 5 minutes or so, and we'll start changing those out and see if that takes care of it. All right, 5 minutes later, no oil leaks, everything's checked out. She's running smooth, and I'll tell you one thing, at least when they got to 2010, I don't know, this is just some particular models, they had a problem with that throttleable wire. You get that gas pedal in this thing, it's very responsive. That Mountaineer I had, that thing had a 2-second delay, and a lot of those Mountaineers did, the 2002s and 3s. But alright, she sounds good. Alright, we'll let her cool down and we'll start the second part of this job. Hey, let me know where you're watching from right now. Alright, so here comes the cringe part. There's what we're going to put in. And what I got to do is get this seal out from there so I can get a T. The heck is this? A T? You would think you would put it up here on the handle, but it's a T25. So we're going to try to get in here and get behind this seal and kind of pry it out a little bit. And you can see I got it already tore. So this will keep me from taking off the valve covers just to see if this is going to be, you know, any issues. So we'll try not to drop anything down in there. I should be able to get the seal out one piece. I see a lot of guys on YouTube and on forums get it out like this, because I got to get this little bolt right there off down in there, then we can just slide this new one in. Alright, with some fiddling around here, I think you can kind of see that it's slowly coming out. Oh, alright, so maybe this won't be too bad after all. Try to get it out without breaking the valve. Alright, so it's out. It wasn't too bad. And now our bolt is right, let's see, right about there. I'm going to have to get this guy down in there and get that out next. Well guys, this is a fail. It looks like I am going to have to take off the valve cover, and I was afraid of that, but there's just no way for me to get this in here, to get in there to get that bolt I've tried it a couple of ways. You know, I'll just snap that off, then that'll be pointless. But the whole idea is to kind of get this guy in here like this. But there's just no way. You know, it's really a shame Ford didn't design something a little bit better where you could actually get in here, maybe take that seal off and get in there and get that. But what are you going to do? Can't cry over spilt milk, right? So I guess we'll be taking this valve cover off. Shouldn't be too bad, although there's some bolts there that's pretty rusty, and hopefully we won't break those off. So, oh well, we tried. All right, so we'll go ahead and start on this. So take this valve cover off. The depressing part here is, I guess, taking this off, but I got this off finally, and you got to pull back on this right here. Little plastic piece, and there's actually 2 O-rings. You got to watch these will fall off. There's a round one that goes on the top, and there's like this little plastic hard one. Let's try that again. There's this O-ring that goes on top, and there's this little plastic hard one that goes on the bottom. So either take them off, put them off the side, or leave them on there, put some tape around them, like I'm going to, because I almost lost those. Now I gotta grab my tape. I'm just gonna put a piece of tape around them like this, so we don't lose any of this stuff. For now, do what we can. All right, let's continue. All right, so I got most of the wires out of the way. That guy's kind of pushed back up out of the way. I got a bungee cord pulling that hose back. This is just some let me try that again. This is just some of the things I'm doing to make it a little bit easier. And of course there was tape wrapped around this here. I unhooked this and dropped this hose, this harness out of the way. This is fairly loose. I'll take another bungee cord and pull this back like this. That should give me reasonable access. And also this back coil here, I was kind of pulling on one of these trying to get the wire off. I kind of broke that back here, but still connected. So I'm going to swap this one here, put it back up on the front so I can watch it. I actually may have coils for this inside, but these things are kind of flimsy. You got to watch. Now we got to take 4 screws out here, little tiny bolts out of these coils. If I can get those out, then I think we're home free. We just got to take out the bolts in the valve pan cover, but I'm kind of worried about these things stripping off. And there's a razor blade. Yeah, someone's been in here doing something. Okay, so that's that. So that's how I'm doing it. And I kind of flipped this harness over this here and pulled it back out of the way. And there's another wire here that goes there and there. Just disconnect those, and we'll try that. So, all right, let's keep going. All right, well, the coils came out reasonably well, considering what these heads look like on these bolts. And look at the dirt. This thing hasn't had maintenance in years. Well, thousands of miles. All of them out except that one. Look at that bolt. Look how rusty that thing is. So we're going to have to try to figure out how to get that one out. If I can get that bolt out, then I'm not too worried about it. I can reuse it up here where it's easy to get to until I get some new ones. But so that looks like is all we'll have to do. Then we'll take out these valve pan cover bolts. They look like they're in much better shape. And we'll change out that VVT. So hopefully this video will help you guys out a little bit anyway. Alright, so this is going to be a little bit of a teaching lesson. A lot of these bolts, like I said, were pretty much rounded off, rust, except those 3. I got those out. The socket I was using, which was a, I think it was a 6mm. Well, it just rounds off. Just spins and spins. But it took the other ones off okay. And was it 6? Was it a 6? Let me just verify that real quick. Let's see. Actually, it was a 7mm. Yeah, that's what the bolts are. So, what you can do if you have a junk box full of little sockets, find something in between the 6 and the 7, like let's say a 6.5. And let me look around here, and also take your little hammer, a small hammer, and get in here and just tap on this a little bit. Because what that'll do, it'll flatten that head down a little bit, and it'll help you out trying to get that loose. And this hitting it will shock it enough. It might break it free a little bit. And then let's find us a bolt here. Find us a socket, I should say. So here's our little socket, 6.5. And I don't care if I break it or whatever. It's what's in the box for. Now I've got to kind of tap it on there. Actually, I went on with one finger there. Let's see if I can hit it. One tap. There it goes. We'll hit it several times. So if you don't get frustrated, you can get a lot of things done. And now I can almost put vice grips on here, but this stud sticking up prevented me to do that from doing that. And I have a little pair of vice grips here. Sometimes you can do that, but I don't want to bust my knuckles. So let's stick this on here and see if we can break this loose. Oh, what do you know? How about that? See? I'm living proof that sometimes you can get things done. Boy, there's just nothing left of this head. But I tell you what, by hitting it with a hammer, like tapping on it, it helps a lot. You'd be surprised. Because these this aluminum and these bolts, they get corrosion around them. And all right, I'm happy I got that out, boy. Nothing left of that head. Yikes. Oh well. All right, so now we can go ahead and get our last coil out. So if I can just pull it out with my hand. Oh, look at the dirt. Oh, and here's the back part that oh gee, yeah, kind of damaged that. It's connected still, but I can use it for a while up front, and I'll change it around. But you gotta be careful on the back when you're trying to unhook these. These things will bend and they'll break. So hey, we got all the coils out. So all we gotta do now is go ahead and take out the valve cover, and we'll be home free. Hey. Okay, Scooby-Doo. It's another day, a hot one. So today, continue working here. That's the whole key. You just got to take your time at it. No need to be in a rush. Got all the bolts out. Little 8mm bolts out for all the valve pan cover there. Valve and covers. But right down in the corner, this one is kind of hard to get to. That socket would not, I couldn't budge it. Couldn't get it loose. So what you got to do, take a long extension and get you another 8 socket, as you can see right there. Put down on that like that. And get your hammer and tap on this right here. Just hit it a bunch of times. That'll help free it up. And that'll verify that it's all the way down on there, if there's any rust. I mean, this is how I'm doing it. And I'll actually get this the rest of the way out. It's on there tight. Of course, this is probably part of the engine. You would think it would be cooler with the air coming in from the front, but there we go. So I was really worried about that. I was like, man, if I don't get that one out, you know what? So this is the last bolt, so we're going to take this off here. Like I said, this is the first time I've seen this off, and you're going to see it with me. So let's go ahead and get this the rest of the way off. So we'll put that long extension there. Every time I hear the word or say the word long, I think of long dong silver. Hey, let me know where that came from in a trial. Somebody had to say the movie they were watching in that trial with someone. Long dong silver. When you're working in the heat, your mind starts to do weird things. All right, so we're going to take this big screwdriver. We're going to try to pry open this here without busting anything, hopefully. All right, well, it's trying to move. Moved a little bit. So, I'm hoping we can just kind of... Well, I know I got all the bolts out. That one's out, that one's out, that one's out. I don't think I missed any, though. Guess I'm just going to have to wiggle it around. That one's out down there. So, let me verify and see if I missed anything. Oh, why? Why? It's stuck on there. Let me just try it right here. I don't know. Oh, there we go. Alright, finally. I think we got her there. Well, I guess I'll have to unscrew the rest of these. I thought I had them all the way out. Oh, that one there, that's the one. I didn't take all the way out, I bet you. Yeah, that's the one. Alright, it should come out now. Nope, a little bit more spinning to do, my fingers here. Now you have nothing better to do tonight, sitting in your bed on your laptop watching this video, right? You know, I had these all the way out as far as I thought they would go. Alright, so there we go. Oh, we're going. We're moving. Of course, there's probably going to be one on the bottom here that I'm going to have to do the same thing with my fingers. This is why you can't be in a hurry with these things. You think you got them all the way out, and they're not. Alright, just about got it there. Alright, here she comes. First time I've seen it. By the way, I did vacuum all this crud out, so nothing would fall down into the engine. And as far as I know, we got everything unhooked. Alright, here it comes. And this is the first time I've seen it, just like you. And hey, I'm impressed. She's pretty clean. Wow. Set this down on the ground for now. Let's look inside the head, and well, it looks really good too. Well, at least I thought I got all the dirt sucked out of it. I'll get the vacuum cleaner and suck some more dirt out, but I don't see anything unusual. So we had to go through all that, all because of that stupid bolt there. Why couldn't they have designed that and put a little gap in that where you could just do this with this valve cover on? All right, so there is the cam phasers. So we're hoping, I'm hoping at least, by just changing out these guys right there, that's our problem. If not, you know, I still had to take this off anyway to replace the cam phasers, which I was going to do anyway. So let me go ahead and clean the rest of this dirt out of here real quick. Alright, so we're going to get this out of here. This is a T27. Alright, that was fairly easy. And even with this little T27, it's not firm, but you know, it gets it out. So I was a little worried about it getting stripped. There we go. Pull this out slowly, because sometimes there'll be plastic pieces on the bottom of it that has been broken, and it'll fall down into the engine, which is not a big deal, but we'll pull this out as slow as we can. Bolt's loose all the way. Yep. So let's see if we can get this out of here. Oop, there it comes out. Slowly we go and get the bolt the rest of the way. There we go. Alright, out it comes. I think you can see that there. Alright, there's a look at it. Well, it doesn't look terrible, but they stick on the inside from what I understand. And of course you're not going to be able to see down in there, but it looks pretty clean right there. See how good this camera focuses. This is an old S5. I'm cheap. A little closer, we'll see if it'll focus a little bit better. So, well, alright. So we're going to soak the new one here in with some oil. Let's look at them here, verify that they are exactly the same. Yep, well, actually, you know what? That plastic is actually busted right there. Look at that. See it right there? Well, it's come apart. It's, you know, it's not seated together like this one. But that looks good. The plug looks good there. And I guess we'll go ahead and stick this in. And the nice thing is you don't have to worry about losing these bolts because they're fixed on there where they can't come off. Alright, so let's get that on there before I put you to sleep. Oh, and by the way, before we go ahead and tighten that down, this is actually a T25. These bolts are just a little smaller. The heads are. So, just so you know. Alright, so that's done. Hit the other side. Alright, now before we go to the other side here, I just noticed something. I got this VVT sensor in, and there's the timing chain. I thought I'd look down in there. I don't think this is going to fix my issue, but at least these are going to be replaced. Look at this. I can still move See that timing chain? Look at that. You can still move it. That should be tight. So I think I've probably got a broken tensioner down in there or something. So, I mean, I kind of planned on removing the front cover anyway, but yeah, it's definitely moving. I think you can see it there. It's a moving, it's a grooving, it's a clunking and a clicking and a rattling on startup. So anyway, we'll finish up the other side and see what we have anyway. All right, guys, so here's what we're going to do. 1 + 2 is 3, right? I think what we're going to do is go ahead and we're going to take the valve cover off on the other side. And while we're at it, we might as well just go ahead and pull the front case, because obviously by replacing these BVT sensors are not going to help my issue. I've just realized something's broke here, and on bank 1, this is why I was getting the code, a timing code. So I might as well just go ahead and pull the cover off, because when I pull the cover off, I have to pull the valve covers off also because it's split right here, and this is part of the front case. So I'm going to have to end this video here. This will be part 1, and I'll put part 2 right about there, and we'll continue. So that way this video won't be too long, and I'll have to come over here and hook a few things, get some of this plastic out of the way, and we'll pull this timing cover off, not timing cover, the valve cover off, and we'll start on the timing cover. Just might as well do it one time and get it over with, right? All right, so this will end part 1. I'll see you probably here shortly with part 2. Thanks for watching, guys.